Hello guys, and welcome as promised to my part 2 of my beautiful book haul. I have a lot more books I'm excited to share with you guys. I'll leave a link down below to the first part of this video in case you missed that one. Definitely check it out. There's a lot of really good books in that video that I'm excited to share with you guys, but there's a whole bunch of ones I'm really excited to share with you guys for this book video. And there were a lot of books that I have to say Bookstagram made me buy. I need to stay off of Bookstagram. I go on there and I see so many books. Like, I have so many saved still that I haven't even bought yet because it's ridiculous. I don't have the space for it. But once I get another bookshelf, which I will when I have room, yeah, I have more books that I really want to buy. But I'm really excited to show you guys these ones here that I purchased. So let's get straight into them. So the first two are both by the same author, Kate Morton. The first one is The Secret Keeper and the second one is The Forgotten Garden. Oh, there's this, I think these are the Sophie Alcourt or Alport editions if you want to look them up if you're interested in buying them. I bought these two from Book Depository. I think Pan is the publisher on this one, but the other two I want to buy, The Distant Hours and The Beekeeper or something like that, are out of stock on Book Depository, but you can find them on eBay, so I'm gonna have to find those two on eBay because I only could find these two from Book Depository. But yeah, I really love these editions. I think they're really gorgeous, and I love when they do editions of books while these aren't like part of the same series. They're all by the same author, so it's nice that they have like a nice cohesive look to them on the shelves, and I just really love the like pastel color scheme going on with this. Next we have a classic, and that's The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins. This is one of the, what are the names of these? These are the Macmillan Collector's Library editions. I've always seen these editions everywhere, but I've never really felt the urge to buy any because a lot of the times they're just like the generic, well, they're all just like the generic classic books that you see everywhere. And as far as like collecting those books, I prefer the Penguin cloth-bound books, like the look of them, but I really love this book. The edition of it is so cute, and I didn't even realize that they're even nicer underneath. So like they have, I think this is just so cute and tiny, but underneath this is, I don't even know if it'll come up, but there's like this embossed like leaf texture on the front, and then the gold sprayed edges, and there's a little blue ribbon bookmark. These books are so cute. I really want to buy more of them. I don't need them, but possibly if there's an edition of a classic that I can't get in, like I said, these editions, then I would definitely order these because they are so cute, and now I understand what the hype is about them now that I have one in person. But anyway, back to this book specifically. I have read by Wilkie Collins The Woman in White, and I think I own that one too. But I haven't read The Moonstone. I had a copy of it, but I didn't realize it was an abridged version, and if I was going to read the book, I wanted to read the unabridged version, so I went with this. This was the nicest copy that I could find that I really liked. Next, we have a nonfiction book, and that's Dear Reader, The Comfort and Joy of Books by Kathy Rent Zenbrink, I think is how you say the last name. This book, I believe, just came out within the past month or two. It's on the comfort and joy of books, so I really want to get to this book during Nonfiction November. And in this book, the author is looking at just reading in general, and I love books about books. Like, you don't even need to, the title and the design of this book are enough to sell it to me personally. Next, we have a book that I don't really buy too often, and that's a play. It's called Lamplighter by Jackie Kay. This is a play that takes us into the heart of Britain's legacy in the slave trade. So I haven't read a play in a while. I tried to read one, I think it was called like All My Sons or something, just couldn't get into it. But I'm hoping that I'll have better luck with this one. Next we have Gilead by Marilyn Robinson. This is the first one in, I believe there's like 4 books in the series. I know Jack is the most recent one that just came out like a month or 2 ago, and or maybe like last month actually. But I really love these editions for one, and if I was gonna, I had a different edition before, but I was like, if I'm going to read the whole series, I want them all to be a part of the same edition. This is by Picador. I've heard a lot of good things about this series, but I just bought the first one because I need to make sure I like this one before I go and buy the rest of the series because they're not exactly cheap. So I need to make sure that I like it first. This book takes place in 1956 and is toward the end of Reverend John Ames' life, and he's writing a letter to his young son. I've heard, actually, I think I've heard like hit and miss things about this, so that's why I was also hesitant to buy the whole series without knowing if I was going to really be into it or not. So yeah, definitely, I hope I like it because I think as a series, the covers really tie together nicely, so we'll see. Next, I have two books that are by the same author, and that author is Laura Wood. The first one is Under a Dancing Star, and the second one is A Snowfall of Silver. I just read A Sky Painted Gold by this author last month, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting 2 more books by her. I love how the look of each of her books really goes together with the metallic foiled edges. The first book I read was set in 1929, and this one is set in 1930, and this one is set in 1931, which I think is very interesting, but she writes that time era so well. I don't even know the plots of these books, but I don't need to because I just know I loved the other one so much that I have high hopes for these two. And these are like, I would say the genre these are in are like young adult, historical. Then we have 2 books that are not by the same author, but they're the same like editions of books, and the I came across these on Bookstagram, I think it was a while ago, and I decided to try a couple of them to see before I bought like the whole series of them. And it's the British Library Women Writers editions by the British Library. I have Dangerous Ages by Rose McCauley, and this one's following a few different generations of women in the same family. And then the other one I purchased was Father by Elizabeth Von Arnhem. And this one is about a woman who is later in life and deciding to gain some independence for herself. I chose the 2 on there that I felt like I was most interested in the plots of them. And hopefully I'll like them and be motivated to buy the rest in the series, because I believe there's a few more that are available, and there's a few more that are like on pre-order right now. They're going to be coming out soon. Next, we have 2 books that are by the same author, and that's Gail Jones. I love these editions, and this is Corregidora, I hope I'm saying that right, and Eva's Man. The covers on these are life. Like, these are gorgeous. There's one other book in the series called The Healing, but these 2 were on sale. The other one was full price, so I'm going to wait and see if the other one goes on sale before I buy it. But these are blurbed by, this one by Terry Jones, this one by Toni Morrison. So I know I have high hopes for Gail Jones because I love Toni Morrison's writing and Terry Jones. The first one, Corregidora, we're following Ursa, who's a blues singer, and she's consumed by her hatred of Corregidora, a 19th century slave master who fathered both her mother and her grandmother. Charged with making generations to bear witness to the abuse embodied in her family name, she finds herself unable to keep this legacy alive when she's made sterile by a violent fight with her husband. I read the first couple of pages of this and I was really hooked, and I can't wait to get to it. These are the Virago, I'm saying that right, Modern Classics editions, in case you're wondering. And then the second one is Eva's Man. We're following Eva, who she sits in a psychiatric ward silent. She has murdered her lover and they want to know why. Her memories weave back and forth over encounters with the men in her life: the schoolboy who played doctors and nurses with the dirty popsicle stick, her mother's boyfriend, her cousin, her husband, a stranger on the bus. She's been propositioned and abused for as long as she can remember. These books sound so heavy but so good, and I just cannot wait to read them. Next, on a lighter note, we have 2 classic books, both from the same editions. I also, these are Classics Reimagined, which I think I have a paperback one of Pride and Prejudice somewhere on my shelves. But the first one we have is Grimm's Fairy Tales, and these are gorgeous illustrated editions of books. There's, I think, 4 or 5 out right now. I purchased 2, and there's a few more that are coming out as well. And these sprayed edges, oh, they're not even gonna come up, I don't think. Let me see if it will show. But it says, mirror, mirror, here I stand, who is the fairest in the land? And I'll give you guys a look at what the inside looks like. Like, look at this. It is so gorgeous. Okay, so this is the illustrated part, and it's illustrated like throughout with these illustrations, and I just cannot wait to get to this. So I bought the Grimm's Fairy Tale versions, and these are just selected stories from it. It's not like the complete Grimm's Fairy Tales. And then we have the Edgar Allan Poe one, which is selected stories and poems of his. This one is illustrated by David Plunkett, and the other one was illustrated by Yann Legendre. I hope I'm saying that right. The edges on this one have a design on them. I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. It's kind of just like scribble. But I figured like this time of year, I'm just definitely in the mood to read this. So these have very creepy, weird drawings and illustrations that go along with the stories in here, and I am all for it. I really like Edgar Allan Poe's works, and I haven't read anything from him in so long, so I'm really excited to get back into reading his stuff again. Next we have Our Nig, or Sketches from the Life of a Free Black by Harriet E. Wilson. This one is described as a fusion of two literary modes, the sentimental novel and the slave narrative. It traces the trials and tribulations of Fredo, a mulatto girl abandoned by her white mother after the death of the child's black father, who grows up as an indentured servant to a white family in 19th century Massachusetts. I don't remember where I heard about this book from. I think I was reading an article or something online, and it got me interested in reading this book, but I was trying to find it, and Amazon had it, I think, for like $100 or more. I think eventually like someone listed a used copy on there for like 20 bucks or something, so I got this. I specifically wanted this edition. I think there were other ones on there that were cheaper. I can't even remember now, but I'm really interested in getting to this one. Then I ordered the next book. I ordered actually a few books from Waterstones, so let's just go into the Waterstones books. So the first one we have is called Afropean Notes from Black Europe by Johnny Pitts. I believe this one was released recently. This book is described as a tour through Europe's Black communities, which is definitely something I don't really know too much about. A lot of books I read are kind of centered more on the Black experience in the United States, so I thought this would be very interesting to just get a different cultural Black experience to read from. And then we have Dominicana by Angie Cruz. I had an edition of this book before. It was the Book of the Month edition, which really aren't my favorite editions of books, if I'm being honest. I'm not crazy about their editions of books, but once I seen this one, I knew I wanted this one instead, and so this is really a nice edition. It has like the red sprayed edges and everything, and I like the story, and it's one I would see myself rereading again in the future. We're following 15-year-old Anna. She grows up in the Dominican countryside. She dreams of moving to America, and that comes true when she is engaged to be married to the man who is living in America, but he's like twice her age. Yeah, as I'm reading the back, more of it's coming back to me, and I'm definitely interested in reading this one again. So I think it was like, I can't remember how long ago, maybe like 2 months ago, I read Noughts and Crosses by Mallory Blackman. The first book in the series. I believe there's like 5 books altogether in this series. Specifically, I bought these editions from Waterstones, like I said before, and they're the last 4. So we have, these are not in the order that they are in, I don't think, but it's Double Cross, Knife Edge, Crossfire, and Checkmate. So I liked the first book, so I planned on reading the rest, and I think it's cool that they have all sprayed edges and that each one is a different color. When I ordered this, it also came with, which is cute, they put a little like note on it because I didn't order this. It says, here's a freebie to go with the rest of the series. And this one is called Not Forever. It's a Noughts and Crosses story. I guess this was a free book on World Book Day back in March 2019. So that's cool. It's some like companion short story that goes along with the series. I actually just started watching the series adaptation, and I'm really liking it so far. I think I'm up to like 2 or 3. Definitely it's like addressed a lot of things that I had issues with in the series, or that I thought could have been changed from the series, so I'm liking that. This series, if you haven't heard of it before, I think it came out quite a while ago. Yeah, this series came out back in like 2008 at least, and I hadn't even heard of it. I think because it's mainly like more popular maybe in the UK and like that part of the world. But it's kind of like an alternative history where instead of white people colonizing Africa and making them into slaves and having them be the lower class, it's flipped around where Africans colonized white people and we're the ruling class. It's very interesting. I don't know, some of it's kind of weird to think about, but definitely I want to keep going on with the series and see where it goes. Next, we have the book, I think, of this whole book haul that has like the prettiest cover of all of them, and that is The Incredible Shrinking Woman by Athena Dixon. This is an essay collection. It's not too long. It's pretty short. I think the book itself is only just over 100 pages. I came across this book on someone's Bookstagram page, and I read the back, and it's like all these essays. The author it's her debut essay collection, and she's unpacking the roles she learned to inhabit growing up as a Black woman in a small Midwestern town to avoid disruption. I think this is going to be a really interesting essay collection. I don't really read essay collections too often, but this one stood out to me. And also the cover, I just had to buy it. Next we have Bad Love by Mame Blue. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. In this book, we're following a young woman who lives in London. She finds herself romantically adrift. She struggles in her love for D. Amika, a gifted musician who is both passionate and distant in the way he loves her back. Confirming her worst fears about the unstable foundation of their relationship, he suddenly disappears and she's left to pick up pieces. This is kind of a little bit, I guess, leaning more towards romance, but not really. So I don't really read a lot of romance, but this one still drew my attention. What also made me interested in this book, besides the fact that it has this beautiful cover that's in my favorite colors. This is part of 20 and 2020. A Jacaranda collaboration with Words of Color Productions is the first time a UK publisher will publish 20 Black British writers in 1 year. So I definitely want to go onto the website and see all the 20 that are being published. But yeah, this is the one that I went with and decided to buy, but I'm definitely interested in seeing the other books that they published too. The next two books are by the same author. I read one of them so far and I plan on reading the other. I just got the other one like 2 days ago. It was a new release, and that's Dear Martin and Dear Justice by Nic Stone. So I read Dear Martin a couple of years ago and I really enjoyed it and I wanted to read it again. Well, in Dear Martin, we're following Justyce McAllister. He's top of his class and he's like on the debate team, set to go to an Ivy League and everything, but he ends up in police handcuffs still. Released without charge, he's frustrated that despite leaving his rough neighborhood, he can't escape the scorn of his former peers or the attitude of his new classmates. So he studied the teachings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and he has this journal that he's writing to him in. This book was very interesting. So the next one, Dear Justice, I believe follows the same character. So Justyce McAllister and Vernell Laquan Banks grew up a block apart in the Atlanta neighborhood of Wynwood Heights. Justyce and Quan go way back, but they've taken different paths. While Justyce went to a good school, Quan got caught up in a world of crime and fear. So I'm not going to keep reading because I don't want to give away some stuff from this book because they're tied together. So I feel like I should reread Dear Martin before I read Dear Justice. I was going to go just straight into this one, but I think I want to read this one first. Now we're finally on to the last books of this book haul. And I'm really excited to share these ones with you guys too. So these are all also by the same author. They're published by Harper Via, so they all have a nice like cohesive look to them. And these are all by the author Isabel Allende. So these are what the spines look like. I'll show you guys each book individually. So first we have The Infinite Plan, Ines of My Soul, Islands Beneath the Sea, Daughter of Fortune, and lastly we have Portrait in Sepia. I love the covers on these. I love that they all tie in together. I believe there's another set of other books by Isabel Allende as well, but I wanted to make sure I like these ones first before I go out and buy like everything by her. But I know she's a very popular author. I just haven't read anything of hers before. The reason why I bought all of them together is because I didn't want, if you spent so much you got free shipping, so I wasn't gonna just like buy one and pay for shipping and see if I liked them. I decided to just go ahead, take the jump and buy all of them so that I could get free shipping. But I have a feeling that I'll like these books. I just now realized Portrait in Sepia is the sequel to Daughter of Fortune, so these two are like a duology together. What made me interested, not just because of the covers and how beautiful these books are, is that this author is a woman of color herself, and all of her stories seem to be centered around different stories of color of people like in Africa or in Spain and stuff, and I just really want to diversify my shelves more and add more different type of life experiences and things to my shelves. So I think that that would be a good author to include in my reading. So those are all of the books that I purchased in the past couple of months. Thanks to you guys for joining me on these two-part book haul series. As far as book hauls go, this is probably my last one of the year. I mean, it's mid-October and I have bought way too many books over the past couple months, so definitely the last couple months of this year I need to cool it a bit. I do have a few other books that I've ordered that just aren't here yet because they're like pre-orders. I pre-ordered Hollowpox, which is third book in the, what series is that called? Oh, it's the third book in the Trial of Morgan Crow series by Jessica Townsend, but that one's not here yet. I pre-ordered One by One by Ruth Ware. That's not here yet. And there was one other book I think that I pre-ordered that's not here yet. Oh, The Betrayals by Bridget Collins I also pre-ordered, but it's not here yet. So besides those 3 books, I don't think I have any other books that are coming to me. As always, there's like so many in my shopping carts on different websites, but I'm gonna have to wait a little while at least before I really go crazy again on buying books. Let me know if you guys have read any of these, if you recommend where I should start in reading all of these books, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!